I think for sure we can all do better. And the advancements in this area are happening so rapidly. If I go back maybe even 10 years ago, the capabilities we have today, not just here but globally, we are not there. But now we have very many countries sending satellites in space. So we are collecting more information and it's even becoming cheaper to access. So I think with the passage of time, the access to information is becoming better. The skills within the people in analyzing this information is increasing, and I can only promise that we are going to deliver better and better as we move forward.
What would be your call to especially the policy planners, these governments in the region?
Start, I think we need to really try and be as scientific as possible, because in this world you'll never get 1 + 1 and get 10. There is science, there is logic around it. So we are not going to be like our forefathers who believe things will just happen by chance. Well, I come from Rwanda, and in Rwanda we have very funny names. Everything's attributed to God. You produce a child and say God will take care. Those are the names we have. So it's good to be Christian, but science is there to answer practical problems on this planet. So I would urge our policymakers to really trust science, use science, and come to logical policy interventions, rather than leaving everything to fate and we think somehow some magic could happen and things will work. No, science is here, let us utilize it.
Very philosophical. I can't ask you anymore. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Unless there's something maybe you want to talk about it.
Government for hosting this center and the continued support they give. So we hope we can also be of much more value to this government and other governments in the region. Thank you.
And maybe in future perhaps
our key partners, because I think we are here and maybe one of the weaknesses we've had is really go in these labs and deal with information, but really how to communicate it to those who need it most has been a problem. So we need to improve on that side of things.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thank you.
So of all state that this center, the Regional Center for Mapping for Resources and Development, is established by 20 states around this region. All of them are members of UNECA, that's the Economic Commission for Africa. And it is basically designed to use space technology to map the resources that we have on Earth so that we can plan our developments and also manage our resources. And in particular for us as a Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning, we have used it very extensively to use the resources that we get from outer space using satellite imagery in our surveying. More recently, we have used the technology to enable us fast-track the national titling program, which, as you know, is a major priority for the government in ensuring that all citizens of this country get titles, and it involves ensuring that the boundaries are properly surveyed and established so that what title you get is actually an accurate reflection of the land that you own. Now, this conference here today that has been opened is to bring together scientists, not only from the 20 member states, but from across the world, and our collaborators, including the National Space and Aeronautical Administration from the US, Airbus, and other players, industry players, technology providers, who work with this center, and by extension the government, to provide the technology, the very, very complex technology, very advanced technology, so that we can harness it for our development activities.
Now, Ambassador, I'll just ask you one question.
Yes. Exactly. In fact, there's a key policy document that was launched this year by the ministry, that is the National Spatial Plan, which not only targets land use planning and land use, but also urban planning and mapping of resources. So this technology is really very key. In fact, it is the major inputs in the planning of land use, urban planning, and all the other activities that we carry out on our land.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me not
Welcome.
harass you.
Thank you very much. This conference is indeed very, very important. And when we look at the theme of the conference, that is space technology touches lives. It's very important. And by use of the space technology, we are able to get adequate and reliable information about the Earth service. That is by using the remote sensing. And therefore, in our country here, as Ambassador has mentioned to you, the technology touches lives indeed in the use of the technology to ensure that the citizens get land title deeds for socio-economic development. It is also a very important conference because this is in line with the United Nations. Recently, for the first time ever, we have a resolution by the United Nations on global geodetic reference frame, because the world realized one of the reasons that the Millennium Development Goals failed is because we forgot one aspect, the positioning. And therefore, the UN is urging the member states to embrace the use of accurate positioning, what we are calling United Nations Global Geodetic Reference Frame, and which we are implementing in this region of Africa as AFREF, that is African Geodetic Reference Frame. And in the country, we are calling it KENREF, that is Kenyan Geodetic Reference Frame. It is this reference frame that we are being able to map all the resources we have, including mitigation of disasters, the agriculture, name it. So it is really important for our nation.
Sir, you just said something, positioning.
We define land as any feature on, above, or below the Earth surface, including the subsurface rock and indeed even the oceans. So we are talking of now getting the coordinates, that is X, Y, Z, and T time for this land, and being able to map it, to put it in appropriate maps.
So this is about
Topographical
map
maps, yes.
resources.
Mapping of resources, yes. Yes, positioning is mapping of resources, yes.
Yeah, I was getting lost. Okay.
Yeah.
So how is it then connected to